Good day, my friends out there. Damon Friedman, Force for a Good Show podcast, and today's topic, this is going to be cool. It's called the SlingShot mentality. Have you ever heard of the SlingShot mentality? I hadn't. Just recently, I'm sitting there, and I'm getting this brief. It's a leadership brief. And all of a sudden, they start talking about the SlingShot mentality. I'm like, what is the SlingShot mentality? I kept taking, I wrote down my notes. I was excited. I'm a warrior. I love slingshots. I don't know if you remember when you were a kid, you had a slingshot. You probably hit like poor little innocent animals or something. Bad. Maybe some cans. Good. Maybe at your brother or sister. Depends if that's... Maybe that wasn't a good thing. Maybe it was fun back then, but it wasn't a good thing. Slingshot mentality. All right, let me just read to you what it is. Okay, this is what I gathered. It's a mindset that requires one to draw back, to understand your current situation. This step back allows one to see the target, enabling one to aim and finally unleash, hitting the target. That's pretty cool. Where did this come from? Have you ever heard of David? King David? You mean like the king of Israel? David? Like, at one point in time, the most powerful commander in the world? King David? Yeah, that's the guy. Do you know where do you know where it all started? I'm going to give you just a quick history lesson here, because we don't have a lot of time. But you got to know the background. So Israel has their first king. His name is King Saul. Tall dude. Really tall, chiseled jaw. I bet he had like a 12-pack. Really tall guy, super good looking, right? Everybody liked him. Just wasn't doing the right thing. Failed as a leader. All of a sudden, his right-hand man, this guy's the counselor. This guy's the guidance. This is the voice. This is like the spiritual leader. He was like the prophet, Samuel. Whenever you needed any guidance, this is the guy that you talk to. Do you have somebody that you talk to whenever you need some guidance, some counseling, some leadership? This is the guy, Samuel. He's instructed to go find a new king. He's told it's under this house of Jesse, this father. Samuel comes on in, and of course, he's just thinking, the next king's going to be just like Saul. Tall dude, right? Just wickedly handsome. Don't you hate those guys? They got the height. They look great. The body. They look like physical specimens. Long hair, majestic, good looking. Well, he's looking for that next guy, right? And Jesse he's just excited because he knows who this guy is. He brings out his first son. Man, good-looking dude. Good-looking dude. Perfect to lead the nation, the next king. So awesome, right? Nope. All right, let's get the second boy. Second boy shows up. Nope. Third. Nope. Fourth. Nope. Fifth. Nope. Sixth. Nope. Seventh. Nope. Samuel's like, what is going on? And like anyone, if you're looking for some guidance, I don't know about you, but I pray. That's what I do. I pray. He's praying. He's like, hey, where's the next king, God? Where is it? Where is he? And all of a sudden he says, Jesse, there has to be another one. Lo and behold, Jesse's like, yeah, I got one more, but that's not the one you want. The one you want is here, one of these boys. He's like, no. I want to see him. So he brings him in. Where is he? He's a shepherd, and he's taking care of the flock, and he's out there in the middle of nowhere. It's dark, and it's cold, and it's filthy. It's the field. Ever been out in the field? Well, all my veterans out there know what it's like being in the field. It's nasty. Weather could be just horrible. And when I went through boot camp and I was becoming a Marine, I remember I was part of Frozen Fox. I can't tell you. You ever watch a Band of Brothers where it's just snowing and you're in the trenches and you're just freezing? Like everything's frozen. I've been there. You can't even feel your hands or your feet or anything. I graduated Ranger School during winter class. That's right. I had my anger tab. It's stitched up in white right around there. Ranger. Anger tab. Trust me, I know what it's like to be out in the field, brother. Oh, I do. David is out there. All right? And he's fighting elements that you can't even imagine. He's fighting wolves. He's fighting bears. He's fighting everything out there with a staff. Dude's bad to the bone. Finally brings him in. He's a little dude. Ruddy. Filthy. All of a sudden, you can feel it. He's the one. Yeah, little David. I like him. Bet he was a wrestler. Okay? Little guy. Tough as nails. He's the youngest of the 8. He's the last one considered for this prestigious position. Right? King, prime minister, whatever, president, right? Of this entire enterprise. Later on, fast forward, we've got this big matchup. One nation against another nation. We see this all the time here in America, right? Wars happening between two nations. Well, this one is the Philistines against Israel, right? They have their champion. Israel has theirs. And David shows up. He's like, I'm hearing that there's a war out there. There's a battle, and I want to be a part of it. And everybody's like, look, there's Goliath out there. Goliath. The dude is like huge. I mean, how tall was he? How tall was this guy? I mean, he was like over 9 feet. The dude was huge, right? Like he could carry metal that's hundreds of pounds, just his body armor. Just his sheer voice scared every human out there. He's sitting out there and he's just pounding his armor. It's like, oh, you guys are cowards. Who shows up? Little David. Oh, yeah. Everybody's looking at him. He's just going through, the crowd, and everybody's splitting. And he's just pushing his way through. Who's this little guy? They try to put armor on him. He can move around. They try to give him all these big weapons. He didn't use any of them. He went to the battlefield with a SlingShot, bro, and 5 smooth stones. 5 smooth stones. That's all he had. And all of a sudden, he grabs one stone and whoop, stone, probably traveling at Mach 1, baby. Hits Goliath square in the head, and all of a sudden, boom, that body just hits the ground. Little David grabs Goliath's sword. I mean, it was huge. Probably I bet the length was the size of his body. He takes it, whoo, cuts his head off. Sorry for all of you young men and women out there, but that's history. That's what happened. Israel claims victory. And it all began with a slingshot mentality. What is a slingshot mentality? Let me tell you something. I'm going to think about something that's very, very important. When you take a step back and you look at whatever it is that you're aiming for, you have to have a thorough understanding of what you're getting involved in. Everything in life is an investment. As David went before the battlefield, he calculated. He measured the cost. He weighed it out. He did. He weighed it all out. He knew what he was getting himself into. And this was a big move. He knew that it was absolutely worth it. The odds were totally against him, and he needed to be very methodical. He studied Goliath from a distance. He knew what Goliath's strengths were and his weakness. Oh, yeah. In the military, we call it the center of gravity. Those are the strengths. The critical vulnerabilities, that's the weakness. David himself also knew his own strengths and his own weaknesses. He did not attack Goliath where it'd be attrition. No, he didn't. He didn't go blow for blow. No, he didn't. He used a weapon that he knew he was a master at, and he prosecuted the target from a distance because that was the most lethal way he could prosecute this target. Let me tell you something about the slingshot mentality. It's more than just about winning. It's about investments. It's about what you're aiming for. I want to ask you a couple questions out here. Okay? What are you aiming for? David knew what he was aiming for. What are you working so hard for? David had spent so many years out in the field, properly preparing himself, protecting what he found the most valuable. Those were the sheep. Back in the day, the sheep were very, very valuable. They're very, very valuable. Many communities actually measured each other's wealth based off of how many animals you had, how many sheep you had. And what are you putting all of your time, money, and energy in? Let me talk about some investments. Life is an investment. It is. It is. When you have the slingshot mentality, that means that you're going in and you're fighting for something that is totally worth fighting for. Maybe even fighting for something that's worth dying for. Slingshot mentality isn't just some concept. Yeah, you can take a step back. You can look at the situation. But the slingshot mentality is about going all in, putting yourself in a situation, because the risk is worth the reward. The juice is worth the squeeze. That's right. So I'm asking you, what are you investing in life? What are you going all in on? Let me tell you about investments. Investments it's not just money. As soon as you think about investments, you think, well, must be stocks. It must be a bank account. It must be cash. It must be, those kind of things. But it's not. It's everything that you get yourself involved in. Let me just go from the most minute investment all the way to some of the most serious investments. Investments in life. The shoes that you purchase. My son, dude, I can't even explain to you how many shoes this guy has. What is it with our generation today? I mean, we got more shoes than you could possibly imagine. What is it? I mean, when I was growing up, I had two pairs of shoes, the one that I wore to school and the one that I ran in. And then when the ones that I ran in wore out, I wore the ones that I was wearing to school. They're running shoes. It's not just shoes, it's literally relationships that you have. The people you hang out with, the people that you devote yourself with, the people you get married with, the lifelong commitments that you have with your partners. Investments is a house. That's a big investment, man. It's a huge investment. You better buy the right house. I always tell people, man, renting is good for a short period of time, man, but you gotta buy a house. You need to own something, get some equity. Car, man, it's the fastest way to lose a ton of money. The car that you buy, oh man, I love all the gadgets. I like the user experience. Yeah, but guess what? How much is it worth when you resell it? I'm not gonna tell you the car that I purchased, because if I do it, maybe this car company one day will find out that I'm talking about that car company, and they originally asked me to be one of their keynote speakers at their annual conference, so I'm not even going to talk about the car company. But I bought this car for like $21,000. And a couple years later, no joke, when I go in to turn it in, they would only give me $3,000. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Now I'm going to throw out the vehicle that is a really great investment. It's called a Toyota Tacoma. I own that thing. I bought it for $30,000, owned it for 15 years, went 150,000 miles, and I got like $13,000 for that. That's a good investment. What am I talking about? Everything in life is an investment. The car that you purchase, the house that you purchase, the shoes that you purchase, the relationships that you have, the education that you get, the certifications, the job that you have. Everything in life is an investment. Some investments are good. Some are bad. let's get back to the slingshot mentality. What are you investing in? Because I'm here to tell you something. When you have the slingshot mentality, you are going to be all in on something that's worth your time, your money, and your energy. You only get one shot in life. No pun intended. We're going to come into obstacles. We're going to run into some challenges. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth fighting for? Is it worth driving through? When you have an obstacle, man, I'm here to tell you, and your objective is on the other side, how are you going to pursue it? What are you going to do? I'm here to tell you something, man. If the investment is worth it, you got to have a slingshot mentality. Something that I learned when I was first getting leadership development as an officer in the Marine Corps. Maneuver warfare courses, classes. I mean, Marines are they're the best when it comes to maneuver warfare. That's hands down. And the word strategos came along the way. Strategos comes from, it depicts this where commanders would go on top of a mountain and they would literally look at the entire landscape. They would look at the field. They would look at the enemy's forces and juxtapose them with the friendly forces, comparing and contrasting the weapons, the health of the unit, the strength of the unit, looking at, again, the centers of gravity, the critical vulnerabilities, and looking at both, looking at the climate, looking at the weather. And what you do is that commander figures out, is this worth going through? It is. It is worth. And these are the weapons that I'm going to use I'm going to capitalize on this on the enemy. Originally, maybe he had a certain plan. But then when he gets to the actual landscape, the battlefield, and he sees the enemy forces, he reevaluates. Strategos. He develops a strategic plan. And then what he does is he goes back and he shares his plan with his officers and leaders out in the field, and then they execute. Slingshot mentality. You think David came in not knowing anything? 100%. He knew. 100% he had all the intelligence that he needed. 100% he was properly prepared for war. 100% he was ready in the event that first stone, whether he missed or didn't hit it right on target. Let's just say Goliath did not fall immediately. He had 4 other stones, brother. 4. That was 8. 4. I got excited. He was ready. Now I want to put the slingshot mentality into some practicality. What does it look like when you go all in? What does it look like when you're fighting hard? And then all of a sudden, it doesn't work out. Yeah, it begins with an attack. It begins with an initiative, an ambition, whatever it is. This isn't just about war. This is about business. This is about ambitions. This is about goals. How many of you have goals? Real goals, big goals. What if one day all of a sudden you had that slingshot mentality and then you found yourself straight on the floor? It's like a boxing match and you just got knocked out. Look, man, life is hard. And you get to choose whether or not, when you get smashed in the face, you get to choose whether or not you stay down and you just bleed. You just quit. You just roll. I'm done. Or maybe, as that referee is counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You get back up. That's right. You get back up. Because David had 4 other stones, brother. That's right. It's never too late to have the slingshot mentality. You take a step back, you shake it off, man, and I'm telling you, man, I've been knocked down hard. I could have easily stayed down. And many of you out there have been knocked out hard too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You get to choose whether or not you want to get back up, or how about this? Instead of staying down, you wipe the blood off of your face and you go for another round. Slingshot mentality, man. You just remember, if you have that mindset, all you have to do is draw back. Understand your current situation. Keep your head on a swivel, my friends. You look at that target again, it's the same target that you've been looking at, the same target you've been dreaming about, the same target you've been driving, man. And it allows you to have just a clear aim. You got some blurred vision? Take another step back, brother. Wash that face. Get a good night's sleep. Recover. And that next morning, get ready for another round, baby. Because you are called to be in the fight. Get yourself a slingshot, my friends. And get yourself 5 smooth stones. And you get ready for life, man. It doesn't matter what it is that you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what the challenges are. If you have a slingshot mentality, you got a high probability of winning. A high probability of overcoming the obstacles or the challenges that are in your way. I have to end it with this. I hope I don't get too much critiques on this one. It's like Cobra Kai. I wrote that down, I know. Cobra Kai. Strike first. Strike hard. No mercy. Whatever it is, this is the pragmatism in that statement. All right? It's not about the Karate Kid, my friends. All right? Because I liked him. I was for him. I'm glad he won. All right? It's more about your pursuits in life. Make sure that whatever it is that you're investing in, whatever it is that you're going all in, it's worth it and it's a good investment. And whatever it is that you do it. You strike hard, man. And don't wait. Don't wait. And whenever it gets hard, don't feel sorry for yourself. Just keep on driving. Slingshot mentality. This is Damon Friedman, and this is the Force for Good Show podcast. Godspeed.